Austin, congratulations,
Yep.
man. You guys pulled off the first of hopefully a few more. How are you?
I am doing well. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be back on. I hope you guys enjoyed the weekend as much as I did.
More than you know.
Yeah, it was fine, Austin. You know, it's cool.
It was like medicine to a sick person. Look, you were coming back from injury, gutting through the concussion recovery, and I'd imagine all along out in front of you, like, you know, the carrot being dangled was, I'm going to get to play playoff football. I got to imagine it was all worth it, everything you went through in the rehab to be not just on the field, but such a key component late as you guys moved down the field to get the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, playoff football just in my day has kind of turned out to be kind of the more special times and special seasons that I truly remember the most, just because of what it takes to get to the playoffs and, you know, being able to kind of, you know, reap the benefits of hard work, of all that stuff kind of coming together. And so this is no different. Definitely wanted to get back and make sure my body was right before I stepped back on the field. And we did that, took the right steps. And now it feels good to be in the journey, and not only in the journey, but also getting our first win.
Okay. Take me inside the mind of Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Foot touches ball. It goes up in the air and starts to drift ever so slightly to the right before it hits that upright and goes in. Just walk me through your thought process, your reactions, just your feelings. I got to know what it was like on that sideline.
Yeah, I mean, it's different from everyone's perspective, but from my head, we were pretty close, like for the NFL anyway. Like, these guys can make these all day. So that's what I'm thinking. All right, like, this is a nice little chip shot. And you get out there and, you know, kick it in, Zane, and we'll get on the plane. And, you know, from our angle, it's hard to tell. You know, obviously we saw it hit the post, which was crazy. But then, you know, we've seen enough doinks in our day that we've seen some go in, some bounce out. And we could see that one clearly went towards the net. And then we saw the rest put their hands up. And so then it was time to go celebrate on the field. And, yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking, but again, not really at the same time, because even if we did miss it, you know, we had confidence in the defense to go get a stop and let's go into overtime, and then we would have won the game that way.
What was your reaction after it went in? Like, we saw the video of Jaden Daniels, and I don't know if he was just tired or he just is just a football robot who it's the reason he's great, where he just doesn't emote. But like, he did not really react. It was amazing.
Yeah, it reminds me of you know, the Kobe clip. He's like, "Why should I be happy? The job's not finished." You know, like,
exactly.
It's kind of like one of those clips. But you know, like I said, everyone kind of reacted differently. I think you know, for us, you know, we don't want to be in that close of a game, but it's the playoffs, so crazy stuff happens all the time, and we're able to get it done. And that's just the way he reacted. He's, you know, cool as a cucumber, as they say, or however the saying goes. And so that's just Jaden being Jaden. That's him being himself.
Austin Eckler with us here on G&D. So, Austin, going to that drive, that 2-minute brilliant drive to you guys end the game with possession of the football, force Tampa Bay to take all their timeouts and win it with a walk-off. That 18-yard catch and run you had, again, a couple moments took probably days, weeks, maybe even months off of my life. The ball drifting towards the upright was number one. But number two, that passes in the air to you in kind of that left flat. Yaya Diaby, who's just an astounding athlete, by the way, like, it looks like on the TV, he's got it. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's a pick six. The world is going to end. I'm going to crawl and live in a hole and just wait for a meteor to hit me. Then you've got it, and you're shimmying and shaking and chucking and jiving and spinning, going 18 yards down the field. And as soon as you did that, I'm going, holy crap, they're going to win. Like, that changed everything for me. Take us inside that play. What did it look like from your perspective? What was the call? Were you first in line? Like, walk me through it.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of emotions going there.
Seriously, dude.
Oh, man. So, I mean, it's funny because I've definitely felt those emotions, those same things when I was, you know, watching from the sideline. But, you know, as a player, when you get in the game, you're so locked in. Like, the intensity of the moment isn't really magnified like that for you. It's really kind of just, hey, back to the basics, fundamentals. Let's run this play, focus on this play. And, for me, you know, I ended up getting to the flats, kind of went across the formation and ended up being in the flats, and the DN was dropping with me. And so I came from across. So it wasn't really like a free release to his side where he had a lot of eyes on me. So kind of got turned around because he didn't realize that, oh, crap, here comes Austin. I got to go guard the flat. So luckily he was turned around and Jaden threw it to me, and right over his shoulder, I was kind of able to like jump and awkwardly catch it because I didn't know if it was going to ricochet or not. And, like you said, skirted up the sideline and, got loose and got us into, some field goal range, a little bit better field goal range anyway. But, it's one of those where, if he moves his arm in one direction, tips it down and it's a different play. But that's the game we live in, the game of inches.
Yeah, that 18-yard play, a lot of inches, 45-yard line of Tampa down to the 27. And that was kind of one of the first moments, I think, where people started to say, oh, my goodness, they might run this clock out and they're going to have a chance to win this thing without giving the ball back. And that was made possible based on you guys getting one more first down. So I want to go to the play after that. The Bucs burn a timeout, and then it's 1st and 10 from the 27, and you guys call a run play. And you guys had been unable to run the ball pretty much all game long, like from the traditional running game. You had a 12-yard run, in air quotes, that was actually like a slip screen behind the line of scrimmage that went as a run statistically. But you got 8 yards, and it was maybe the best run of the game. What's being said in the huddle right before that when now it's like, let's get yards and run the clock out time, and take us through that 8-yard run?
Yeah, they have a pretty good front, and we knew that going into the game. They're kind of designed, in our eyes, to really stop the run. You got to beat them with the pass. And so we kind of anticipated something like that going into the game, and it definitely held true. But late in the down, it's like, hey, we want to make sure we have a play that we can make sure the clock continues to go and we can get a little bit closer. And ended up finding a seam up in the middle and scampered for a little 8-yard run in there and put us in a position that's like, okay, cool. Now we're close to another first down. And as we were talking about, can get us into a position where we can run out all their timeouts, but still have to pick up this first down. And we want to do it in a way that we keep the clock running no matter what, right? Because we want to take this all the way down and use up as much time as possible, even if we do have to kick it here on 4th down. We want to just eat up as much as we can. So we knew we were going to be running the ball. And, so that 8-yard run definitely put us in a position where it's like, okay, this is very manageable. We're in field goal range now and in a position to potentially end the game, which is the ideal situation for us, where we call it no moss. Like, hey, stay in bounds, make sure to get down because we're trying to end the game with the ball in our hands and kick a field goal to win.
Wait, so go back to no moss. I've heard people call it, I think it was, what was the line I heard? That was like high school, because they say you can't score, right? Or something like that. But no moss, what is that? What's that mean?
Yeah, no moss means, hey, stay in bounds because we're trying to
don't try to
kill the clock. Yeah,
no more, right? Like no more. We don't want any more after this. Like, this is us. Stay in bounds. All right, don't score. Get down. We had a couple situations. This actually with the Chargers a couple years ago. We're on the 1-yard line. We're in no moss where we don't want to score. And the defense is, if you're down that close, they might want you to score so they can get the ball back. So don't score, don't go out of bounds, but get the first down.
So, and Austin Eckler with this here on G&D. So coming into this game, what you said about their defensive front, Grant and I were saying kind of all week long, Cansey and Vita Vea are incredible up there up front. And so I sort of predicted this, not that I'm any kind of genius, but it sort of was pretty intuitive, Austin, that this was going to be an Austin Eckler game, right? Where you were going to get touches, you were going to be involved. Is that something that going in as kind of the game plan's getting installed and you're sort of walking through the week going, this might be more than your average week for Austin in terms of getting some touches?
Yeah, look, there's different matchups all across the league, and this is one of those where it's like, hey, we know they have a stout run defense inside, and so for me, when I come into the game, typically, I've been known to, catch the ball in the backfield, and so when it's in the 2-minute situations, I'm in the game, and in 2-minute situations, what are we doing? We're throwing the ball, and so guess what? Where we think they're weaker was throwing the ball, and we were able to, move the ball majority of the game doing that. It was really in the pass game, really the run game, like you mentioned. They had us kind of hunkered down, which, you still try to be multidimensional, but sometimes, you get into a game and it's not the flavor that day. And so, yeah, there is times where it's like, all right, Austin, we're going to drop a few more plays because of the way we match up against these guys. So you saw, with me on the screen, with me catching some checkdowns. I had a couple other checkdowns in there as well throughout the day. So, yep, our coaches are on top of it. They're looking at different matchups, making sure, okay, what kind of players do we have and how do we match up against them? And let's put them in positions to win.
Austin Eckler, presented by IT Cadre on Grant and Danny. Speaking of how do you match up, next up, the Detroit Lions. Detroit at home in one of the loudest environments in the league, a 15-win team on the season, a juggernaut. And you guys get to keep playing and try to now go there and make it 2 in a row in the playoffs. What do you make of taking on the Lions on the road?
Yeah, it'll be definitely a fun game, fun environment. Records don't really mean anything in the postseason. It's pretty much 0-0 because this is There's nothing after this. So it's, you want to know, it's all that matters, and I'm sure you've heard, any given Sunday, for us Saturday at this case. But for us, yeah, we're looking forward to it. We think we're in a position where, hey, let's continue to be ourselves, and we'll see what happens, right? Good things tend to happen when we're in a rhythm and we can continue to move the ball. And so that's what we've done pretty much all year, and looking to continue doing it now. And really excited to go out there and be in the playoffs, second round, get tested. That's what this is about. It's our brotherhood versus their brotherhood. And we know their brotherhood's on display. It's been building for the past couple of years. Well, guess what? So is ours for this last year as well. So really looking forward to it. It's just going to be, I think, a great heavy-hitting match versus two really good teams.
Austin, you guys have pretty much won in walk-off or near walk-off fashion over the last month and a half. Why are you guys so comfortable in those kind of situations where it seems you've come through every single time?
I think that's just because we've been battle tested. We've been in those situations, and not like you're trying to blow everyone out of the water, but that's not how the NFL works. The NFL is, a bunch of highly, skilled players playing each other. And, it's one of those things where that's been our flavor. That's our flavor this year. Hey, we're in a lot of close games, and we're going to get them. Some teams have different flavors the way they're winning, but this is how we've been doing it. And at the end of the day, in the win-loss column, it doesn't have the little notes below it. It just says win or lose, And so for us, it's about getting the win. I don't care if it's a doink in to get to the next round. I don't care if it's a Hail Mary. I don't care if it's a last second, fade ball, whatever it is, defensive stop. Hey, make sure we get the win. And I think that's what our team has really been doing a really good job of is, hey, whatever it takes, let's be bought in for each other. Let's lay it on the line for each other. And then at the end of the day, we'll see what happens, but we'll know that, hey, we put it all out there in the field.
I mean, the best compliment, Austin, I can pay Jaden Daniels, I think, is into this offense generally. And I felt the same way even against Dallas, to be honest, when he wasn't on the field. When you guys got the ball back with 4:40 to go, it felt like a certainty that you were going to score. Now, I don't know. I did not have confidence that you guys could run out all 4:40 because that's just so hard to do, even in a 4-minute offense, right? But I thought at minimum they're getting a field goal, and at most they're getting a touchdown, and then we see if they can stop Tampa Bay. Like, what better compliment is there? But I say that just to ask this question. You guys, after now 5 straight games with wins on your final play from scrimmage, I'd imagine that the confidence is ridiculous even in the huddle. Like, when you're trotting out there, if you hadn't had any of those games end that way over the last 5 weeks, maybe it's different. But you've been doing this every single week for over a month. It must have been like a yawning kind of, all right, well, let's go down there.
I just wanted to walk off.
We'll just go get the points. I mean, really? Seriously, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's yawning. I mean, for me, like all of us on the sideline, we are locked in. Like, it is time to go. Like, for us, like, it's a different type of vibe for us. I know everyone's like nervous in the stands. Okay, even by the defense, like, come on, boys, like, let's go get it. But like, when you're in the huddle, when you're on the field, like, the intensity level and attention to detail is at such a premium. Like, you don't really have time to really think of kind of what's at stake. It's more so execute the job, execute what I have to do, and that's what we've been able to do. I think Jaden's done an excellent job at continuing to be kind of the leader of that and making sure, hey, if things do break down, I can use my legs, I can run, and I can throw, and I can give ourselves even another 1-2 more chances in the same play to keep it alive and keep going. And we have enough guys around him that have been coming through as well, whether you're talking O-line blocking, giving him time, or guys scrambling, getting open, or guys, being en route and throwing on time and catching and running down the ball. So it's complementary, but it definitely helps when you have number 5 who's at the helm, who can continue to extend plays and get us in positions to kind of continue to make the play into the second play and then continue to go. And then, okay, now we have more opportunities that maybe we wouldn't have had if we didn't have, an elite quarterback like we do with Jaden.
Austin, we always end our conversation with a listener question presented by IT Cadre, and we get those submitted all over the place. 1067 The Fan YouTube, where people are watching, or on social media. And somebody here wants to know your thoughts on how many Commanders fans traveled to Tampa, and then your message to a lot of the people who have already scooped those expensive tickets in Detroit. It seems like a lot of Commanders fans are going to make the trip again.
Oh yeah, there's a buzz around the city, and that's spreading to other parts of the nation. So that was really cool to see out there in Tampa. There was a bunch of defensive chants. Like, okay, I had Chris. He's one of our receivers that just came in. He's like, man, I've never been on a team that has this type of culture. So just know you guys are not only making an impact for the people that have been here, but also, even the new guys on the team that really feel the impact of how we're able to travel with our fans. So let's keep that going. And yeah, if you are going to be out there in Detroit, look, I just expect more of the same. You guys have been crushing it all year with the energy, with the chants, with everything. Don't change. Just like, we're not going to change. We're going to continue to go out there and be ourselves. That's what we expect from you guys. We know it's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be loud, right? They had a bye. They've been anticipating this for a long time. So, but guess what? So have we. We've been anticipating getting to this point, and we're finally here. Now it's just time to go execute. Whether you're a fan, player, coach, someone in the media, let's go out and do our jobs, and hope for the best and see what happens.
Love it, Austin. Awesome with us as always. Congratulations again, man, and keep it going, dude. This is just so much fun.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, buddy. Brother. There's Austin Eckler on Grant and Danny here on The Fan, presented by IT Cadre. Always sensational. Just such a fun interview all season long that he's provided for us. Sharp guy, man.
Yeah. Just sees the game in a certain way. It's a reminder of that mentality that those guys have. Like, I'm sitting here going, the ball's drifting to the right. He's like, yeah, we got it. We'll win it overtime. They're just different.
No exaggeration.